The Yankees get walked off by the Rays in 10. The Cardinals get shut out by the Mets. And the Dodgers blow a lead late to the Rangers. Let's break it all down on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On MLB Game Night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we cover not only your team, but the entire league every single day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can also go watch the Braves postcast. I do that every single day over on Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. I'm joined by Steve Lenox at Lenox on Baseball on X, host of the Locked On Reds postcast, available on Locked On Reds YouTube channel and podcast feed. And Steve, fantastic day of games. You ready to get into this?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great word to start off with because, comebacks, almost comebacks, and, a couple of walk-offs in there as well.
Yeah. The first walk-off I want to get to, Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees. Yankees won on Thursday, 6-3. Yankees won on Friday, 1-0. This was the Rays getting their revenge. Here's our friends over at Locked On Yankees and how they thought this game went in the 10-8 loss in extra innings.
I thought the Knicks were supposed to cause us enough stress today. In a day where the Yankees were up 6-2 and 8-4 at two separate points, they find a way to lose the game. As we thought Devin Williams was starting to find a groove. He got his beard back. Yankees lifted their policy. We thought he was finding his groove in the season. Blows is saved. The Yankees can't hold on in extra innings. They get nothing in the top of the 10th. And they suffer a bad loss in Tampa. They're home away from home. Stay tuned to Locked On Yankees all week as we'll be discussing the Rays series plus the upcoming series as the Yankees look to improve on their strong American League East lead. Tune into Locked On Yankees all week, podcast form and YouTube. We'll see you there.
Steve, 4 runs on 4 hits and a walk from Devin Williams, and the Yankees blow this one.
Yeah, they tie it up with those 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning. They win it on Jonathan Aranda's home run in the bottom half of the 10th inning, and I do think the Yankees have a Devin Williams problem. I give this all the time to my sons. Hey, we sort of fix one problem, then we end up with another problem, and then we end up taking a lot of water in the boat as you kind of keep plugging up those holes. The Yankees need to play complete games, and they did not get their closer effort on Saturday. And Devin Williams, you keep doing this, you are going to hear it in the Bronx in a big way.
That's a tough place to play when things are going well. When things are going tough, especially when there's somebody who's going to say it's because they let him grow the beard back. They're going to say that's why. Going to the other, one of the other boroughs there, Mets versus Cardinals. Mets were coming off of a 4-1 win on Thursday. They won 5-4 on Friday. They blank the Cardinals 3-0 today. They have now won 3 games of the series, but they are behind the Padres for second most shutouts on the year with 4.
Yeah, Kodai Senga, 5 2/3 scoreless, 4 strikeouts, 3-1 with the victory. The bullpen doing a nice job. There was a big moment in the 8th inning. AJ Minter able to work out of a bases-loaded jam. Alec Burleson up the middle. Francisco Lindor, Friday's hero, fielded the ball on the outfield grass on the second base side of the bag, wheeled around and got the out at first base. That was big. And then Edwin Diaz gets the job done in the 9th inning. As you mentioned now, 4 shutouts for the Mets. I don't think anyone would have had that going into Easter weekend at the start of the year.
No, I thought the weakness of that team was going to be the pitching staff. And here they are, just no matter who they throw out there, Senga coming off of injury from last year, whoever it is, they've been fantastic. Here's Chris Schubert from the Locked On Mets postcast breaking down his thoughts on what happened.
Continues to be spectacular for the Mets, and Pete Alonso powers another one out of Citi Field. I don't know what more you can say about this New York Mets team, who has a very specific formula right now. Pete Alonso does a lot of the mashing. The starting pitching and bullpen put up a lot of zeros. and the Mets have a lot of wins in the win column so far in 2025. Senga, if my math is correct, and I did the math live on the Mets postcast, 18 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings that dates all the way back to his first start of the season. Picked up his third win, 5 2/3 scoreless here today. And Pete Alonso crushes another one, 443 feet. Ball got out of the ballpark in a hurry. A 2 RBI day for him. He continues to lead the charge for this Mets offense. It was good to see Juan Soto with 2 hits, including an RBI, back-to-back days for him. Looks like he's waking up a little bit. And the Mets will go for their 4th win in a row, and they will go for the sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals before their first real big test in the National League East, a date with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Thanks, Chris. And the flip side of this, for the Cardinals, Brandon Donovan had a 14-game hit streak that he loses. He went 0 for 4. Lars Nootbaar is 0 for 8 in the series. They go 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Just kind of a nightmare Saturday for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And the Cardinals, I saw them against, with the Locked On Red Sox postcast and the Red Sox a few weeks ago at Fenway. They just got beaten up on. And the Mets are just taking care of them in this series as well. Again, another team. They need to play almost perfect baseball for 9 innings and have every facet of the game going. Pitching's going, hitting's not there. Hitting's there, and they're involved in a lot of, high-scoring games. In this series, they've run into some solid pitching from the Mets.
It doesn't help that Mason Wynn is still out with that injury. He's hopeful to come back soon, though. That should help them upgrade at least the defense a little bit because Thomas Sujasi's playing a little bit out of position. Talk about games with injuries. Reds, Orioles. This only series of the year. Friday was an 8-3 win by the Reds. The Orioles get their revenge today, 9-5 victory. And Heston Kjerstad left the game with an elbow contusion. Ramon Laureano comes in. Good thing he does. 2-run home run in the third to put the Orioles ahead. Hits another home run, a solo shot in the 7th. Just so Jordan Westburg goes right behind him, goes back-to-back. Big day for the Orioles, and it really felt like enough runs to support a prospect making his MLB debut in this one.
Yeah, Brandon Young. I didn't get a chance to see. I was just watching his line throughout the afternoon. I should have flipped on the radio side. But 3 runs allowed over 4+ innings, no decision. He's got that first one out of the way. So next time, little better understanding of scouting report at the big league level, all those different things. I'm sure there was plenty of tickets for friends and family coming to town to Baltimore. The first one's out of the way. Hey, when these guys come up, I'd love for him to stay. And I think he did enough where it warrants a second straight outing at the big league level. I don't know if there's plans of this guy going back and continuing to build up the arm strength and the innings at the AAA level.
Yeah. In that one also, Cedric Mullins, Gunnar Henderson, back-to-back in the first inning. Just kind of a nightmare outing for Hunter Green, a guy who we've both been really high on this year. Here's Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds and some of his observations about this one.
You miss that many opportunities, you're pretty much going to lose a lot. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And the Cincinnati Reds actually had a lot of chances to win this game against Baltimore. They end up losing 9-4 on a night that Hunter Green didn't have his best stuff. Terry Francona took him out accordingly. I was glad that he took him out after just 3 innings of work. And then he brought in Carson Spires and kind of let Carson Spires take the rest of the run scoring from Baltimore. But honestly, this for me was about the missed opportunities that the Reds had. Twice they had bases loaded and did not score at all in that inning, either time that they had bases loaded. And when you have that many opportunities and you don't take advantage of them, you're not going to win. And that was just one of those games that the Reds weren't going to win. We'll see if they can win the rubber match, something that they don't do very often, on Sunday.
Some context to that missed opportunity there, Steve. 13 hits, 9 walks for the Reds. They go 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Just did not do it.
And waste a solid performance from TJ Friedel. 4 hits, double, walk on base 5 times, and knocked in a pair of runs. But again, a game under 500. The Orioles are trying to get back to that 500 mark. They've now won 3 of 4, won 2 in a row, as we touched on the other night for the first time this season. So, teams that are sort of middling right now, there are a lot of teams, right around 500 as we approach May 1. We still have some time here in April, but, the Reds and Orioles, again, I'm confident. I'm not saying every big league club, Lindsay, is going to be above 500 come May 15, come Memorial Day, but these are two teams that I know they're panicking in Baltimore. I don't think there's a need right now. I really don't. And I don't think there's a need to panic for the Reds as well. I think Terry Francona, as Jeff said, 3 innings. Hunter Green was not at his best. Long performance last time out. Hey, you're not at your best. It's going to be a short day.
Yeah, and in just a minute, talking about a kind of a long day at the yard, Cubs and Diamondbacks continued that wild series they had. A lot less runs scored today than they were yesterday. We'll tell you all about that next. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? You can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with a Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console is required. Grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. EA Play is included to that, and you're ready to play. You can dive into hundreds of premium titles. EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. No matter what genre you're looking for, it is there. You can also stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. It's high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of buying a console. If you already have a console, Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easy to travel with. You can take your games or your kids' games with you wherever you plug in. We use it on road trips. Like when we're staying in a hotel, an Airbnb, or whatever. We just plug the Fire TV stick in, and the kids can play video games without having to lug the actual Xbox with us on the road. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. An Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. This is available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube. Okay, Steve, so Diamondbacks and Cubs, crazy game yesterday, 13-11, tons of stuff, ended the win streak for the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks still have not started a new win streak. Cubs win 6-2 in this one, and Cubs score all their runs early, 2 in the first, 4 in the second, and are just kind of quiet from there, but they're able to hang on and win.
Michael Busch, RBI single in that first inning to make it 2-1. Corbin Carroll led off the game for the Diamondbacks with a home run, extends his hit streak as well. And then Busch, a solo home run in the second. That made it 6-2. And, the Cubs are now 5-2 in their last 7 games. And I feel like they're doing it quietly almost. And there was certainly nothing quiet about a 13-11 victory on Friday. But, they're just... It almost feels as if, no one wants to give the Cubs credit that they didn't do enough in the offseason. Well, they're now 5 over 500. They're getting offense. They've got a very good lineup. Steele goes down. That's going to be big. But I just that's the Cubs right now for me, a team. Dan O'Dowd says Hunter Green, we're not talking enough about him. I don't know if we're talking enough about the Cubs right now.
I think a lot of people are colored by them losing those 2 games in Japan before the season started to the Dodgers. Everybody was able to watch that, and then nobody was really looked at them ever since then. Here's our buddy Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs with some of his thoughts on the victory.
Such a nice, relaxing win on Saturday from the Chicago Cubs as they defeat the Diamondbacks 6-2 for the second consecutive day with a win. I'm Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs. We're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close to just saying this team's probably pretty good. This team's probably pretty good. They're now 14-9. They've played the Diamondbacks twice, the Padres twice, the Dodgers twice, the Rangers. They've had the toughest schedule in baseball. They're 14-9. They've left some games even on the table. I mean, this might just be a pretty good baseball team. Saturday, the story was Ben Brown battling. Kyle Tucker got an RBI triple. Seiya Suzuki hit a home run. Michael Busch hit a home run. Middle of the order, big day, drove in all the runs. And The Cubs will try and complete a sweep. That's been tough for them, especially at home. They let it slip against the Padres, let it slip against the Rangers. Let's see on Easter Sunday if they could sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks. Heck of a job.
Wrapping up my thoughts on the Cubs here. Kyle Tucker in a contract year, batting .315. Michael Busch, not in a contract year, batting .316. Just two stalwarts of that lineup, and maybe a guy in Busch, not somebody we thought would be an anchor of that lineup.
Right, and he's got protection around him, and it's a good lineup, day in, day out. And as Sam said, he said it perfectly. We've got to give this team some credit. They're off to a good start. This is a team you start paying attention to. Again, 5 games over 500. Mm-hmm. They're one of the teams that a lot of people get caught up with that they didn't do enough in the offseason. They've got money to spend. Well, Tucker is right there. And I've heard nothing about the fact that they're not talking both sides. It's not Kyle Tucker. It's his agents talking to the Cubs organization. The Cubs, at some point, pick up the phone, send the email, send a text, whatever you need to do. And if those conversations are going on, great. Imagine what a boost it would be if Tucker does not get to free agency and they sign him during the season. And now they're ready to go for this year. Not that that's a huge distraction. He's producing. But if they could sign him, that's a shot in the arm to every guy in that clubhouse.
It absolutely is. Flip side of that, almost disastrous game for Arizona. We don't have long on this, but Carroll's 3 hits. Tawa at second base has 1. Everybody else 0 for 24. Zach Gallen, 6 earned in 6 innings. He's now 1-3. ERA's over 5.5. Oh, and they put reliever AJ Puck on the IL.
Yeah.
Their main setup man with elbow inflammation. Can things get much worse for the Diamondbacks than they have right now? 4th place in the West.
Ooh, and we've talked about the top 3 teams, the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers. They've got work to do, and I don't know. You don't raise the white flag, but they certainly can get back into it. But they've got some, and they're above 500.
Yeah,
but those other 3 teams,
part.
That's the hard part of saying, what do we do? We're not sellers here in April, May. But are they going to be able to be consistent with those other 3 teams? Because I think those other 3 teams are there. The Dodgers, Padres, yes. I think the Giants are going to be there too.
Yeah. Speaking of the Dodgers, they come off a 3-0 win on Friday. They dropped this one 4-3. This is something Yamamoto, not Yamamoto, I'm sorry. Just everything looked great for them. Shohei Ohtani's out. Freddie Freeman, 2-run homer in the 4th, but Kirby Yates stumbles late. Here's Vince from Locked On Dodgers with some of his thoughts on this one.
Well, that sucked. The Dodgers were on their way to a win. Roki Sasaki was on his way to his first career win. And then Kirby Yates gave up a double and a home run, and the game was over. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers, and I think the biggest takeaway from this game was Roki Sasaki just looked like a normal pitcher. He went 6 innings. He was very efficient. Velocity was down a little bit. Not sure if that was something that he's doing in order to help himself be more efficient or just a matter of the situation. We'll find that out. But Dodgers didn't do much offensively other than 1 inning, which would have been enough to win the game. But unfortunately, Kirby Yates could not close it out. Coming on the same day that Blake Trinan was placed on the injured list with forearm tightness. Evan Phillips came back from his rehab assignment and picked up a couple big outs there in the 8th inning. So there was some good, but ultimately not a win for the Dodgers. We'll talk about it more on the next Locked On Dodgers, wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube.
Yeah, just the Dodgers have to hang on because that division's so tough, like you said.
Yeah, and Shohei Ohtani, he and his wife welcoming their first child. He'll be back in the coming days. Next man up, Trinan, DL, but you just know they can pick from AAA and they can fill spots better than anybody else in baseball right now.
The depth's absolutely there. 2 teams that felt like they have just a ton of options, a ton of depth. They scored a ton of runs. Phillies, Marlins. Phillies won this handily yesterday, 7-2. Today, 11-10. This was close. Both teams, offensive explosion. I've got everything here. It was 15 hits for the Marlins, 18 for the Phillies. You didn't want to be a pitcher in this one. We've got both sides of this. I think let's hear from Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies first, since they it ended up winning the game.
The Philadelphia Phillies avoid disaster against the Miami Marlins. They win 11-10. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. I had a very different video plan before Jordan Romano took the mound and just nearly blew a major lead. I'm going to say this now. This is a gut reaction. I don't truly mean this, but I kind of mean this. Get Jordan Romano on the first bus out of Philadelphia. Like, this dude is a mess right now. I don't know what in the world he's doing. But the positives, they scored 11 runs. The offense was amazing. Cal Quantrill, who started for the Marlins today, is going to have nightmares about the Philadelphia Phillies lineup. The offense is getting going, right? They're starting to wake up. You always knew that they were going to, right? Because the talent is too much to overlook. And this is the Phillies team we expected to see at the dish when the season started. Obviously, bullpen shaky. But Taijuan Walker, another question too. He left to start early. We'll see what the future holds for him injury-wise, because that was kind of weird. We'll take the win. We'll take a deep breath. We'll move on. We'll talk more on Monday's episode of Locked On Phillies.
When is the Phillies bullpen ever not weird? Just like in his defense. When's it ever not weird?
And I read some of the quotes from Jason Romano after the game. He owned it. And they're saying, the quotes were from Rob Thompson of like, he's got to trust his stuff. They're going to look to see if he's tipping his pitches right now. Mm-hmm. But in that 6-run ninth inning for the Marlins, Liam Hicks, hits a 2-run home run, makes it a 1-run game. He had 4 hits, 4 RBIs in the number 9 spot. Next hitter, Xavier Edwards, lines out for the final out against Jose Alvarado. I've had minor league managers in previous years working in minor league baseball. Like, we almost don't want a home run in that situation. And it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense because you want to keep that line going.
Yeah.
Because if he gets a RBI base hit, you've still got runners on base. The pressure's on the pitchers in those situations. You keep the line going. Now that you've cleared the bases with the home run, you almost have to start over. Philly's fortunate to get that final out.
Yeah. Wild stat here, 40 runners reach scoring position in this game. 40. It almost feels like it's a record. Before we get out of here real quick, here is Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins with some of his thoughts on this. And specifically, he talks about Cal Quantrill.
The Cal Quantrill free agent signing has been a disaster. What's up, guys? It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. And yeah, Cal Quantrill was brought in to eat innings, to be a veteran presence in the rotation. He's been the complete opposite of that, only pitching 3 1/3, giving up 7 runs today against the Phillies. He was terrible. He's been terrible this season.
No strikeouts.
Griffin Conine goes down with an injury, diving into second base in excruciating pain. He leaves with a shoulder injury. The Marlins did make things interesting. The game looked like a blowout. It was 11-4 in the 9th inning. They put up a 6 spot in the 9th. Dane Myers with a 3-run jack. Liam Hicks, his first career home run. But they fall just short. 11-10 was the final. I do want to shout out Patrick Monteverde, who got called up and made his major league debut. He pitched almost 90 pitches today, coming in relief after Cal Quantrill. It saved the bullpen. So shout out Patrick Monteverde.
Yeah, just a tough one all around. And tomorrow, obviously, not going to be better. They have to go up against Jesus Luzardo in the series finale.
Yeah, and they're in jeopardy of being swept in their second straight series. We'll see how they go because Luzardo, they've run into a meat saw in terms of the pitching. We'll talk about Phillies hitting all day long, but the Phillies pitching has certainly taken care of until late in the game with Romano, that is, on Saturday.
Yeah. There's a couple other teams that also picked up their first back-to-back wins of the season today. We'll get to those guys next. Okay, real quick, rapid fire here on MLB Game Night. Going to kind of, make sure we cover the rest of these games. Padres and Astros. Astros take this 3-2. This was the first back-to-back victories for the Astros this year. And this was... Padres made it interesting. Jose Iglesias, double off of Josh Hader in the top of the 9th. Christian Walker makes a good catch. They make it very, very dramatic. But turns out Christian Walker's 2-run home run in the 6th. Isaac Paredes had the RBI single in the 7th. All of the Astros runs come with 2 outs. They hold on. And now we get rewarded. Sunday Night Baseball, Dylan Cease versus Framber Valdez. Great matchup.
It really is. And I was, Thursday, I think it was. I'm like, oh, curious to see Sunday Night Baseball. Who is it on Easter Sunday? I'm like, oh, that's one I want to pay attention to. I'm hoping to be able to sit down tomorrow at 7:00 and pay attention to Cecil Valdez. I'm hopeful that it's another low scoring game. This has been a fun series so far. Although the Padres have had their fits over the first two.
Yeah, talking about a fun series and a fun pitching matchup. One that I think I identified yesterday as one I was excited about. Tigers take down the Royals 3-1. This was Casey Mize versus Seth Lugo. Just tons of fun in this one. Tigers are now up 3-0 in the series. So a little bit of some trouble for a Royals team that can't score a lot right now. Spencer Torkelson gets a 7-run. I'm sorry, his 7th home run. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3 runs in the 5th there. But Casey Mize, 7 innings. The only run he allows is a solo shot in the 7th. Left with a 3-1 lead. First time he's gotten into the 7th inning in 4 seasons. He's back.
Love to see it. Yeah, love to see it. Keep going. And I think Dan Petrie, this one was on MLB Network early in the afternoon Saturday, and I think former Tiger pitcher Dan Petrie was the analyst on the Tigers side, and he had I was listening to him on Casey Mize, and he gives up that home run to Fermin, and they're like, wow, he's going to get through 7 without giving up a run. Boom, a home run right there. But for him to go 7, as you mentioned, it's first time in a long time that he's been able to go that long. Now, let's see what he does next time out. Do they, is it a 5 or 6 innings, and do they keep that pitch count, well below 100? But he's a guy, terrific pitcher in college, terrific pitcher in high school, 1-1 by the Tigers, really coming into his own now.
Yeah, talking about pitching duels, another quick one here. Athletics 3, Brewers 1. Only series of the year. Brewers had won game 1, so this ties it up. But Brett Rooker, solo shot in the 6th. Shea Langoliers had a solo home run in the 9th. And Luis Severino gets his first win with the A's. 1 run, 1 strikeout in 8 innings. No walks. Weird to see him only strike out 1. Like, I had to double check that was right. But other than that, just not the kind of games you thought that young offense would play, but there you go. And don't look now, the A's are a game below or half a game below 500.
I liked watching them last year. I'm enjoying their success at this point too. They haven't buried themselves in a hole. And as long as they're at 500, if they're a 500 team this year, they're just going to continue to build confidence for still what is a very young team. I think it's again, all the different things they're dealing with. It's a fun team to watch, even in a AAA ballpark.
Talking about a team that's a young team that's not building confidence. The Chicago White Sox drop another one to your Boston Red Sox, 4-3. This was, I believe, the 6th straight loss by the White Sox. They're 0-8 on the road. They've lost 6 in a row. And this was Shane Smith, their starter, coming back home to Massachusetts. He's from, I think, near Salem or something like that. And you guys did not give him a warm welcome at all.
No, but I mean, he limited him. I mean, the only hits he gave up were hit batsmen early on in the game. And then Devers touches him up for a 3-run home run. You've got Crochet on the mound. He ends up going 6. But Weissert gave up the lead, gave up 3 runs with 2 outs in the 7th inning. No decision for Crochet, but his ERA now close to 1, I think 1.13. But then they walk it off in the 10th inning. Tristan Casas gets the job done in the 10th inning. Bases loaded, scrapes the green monster in left field. In the 9th inning, they actually got a gift from Andrew Benintendi, who knows the outfield, who knows the green monster. Threw the ball back in. Narvaez takes second. David Hamilton runs. Rafaela hits a comebacker. Winning run at second, bottom of the 9th inning. Hamilton takes off for third. He's out. That just bugged me. It still bugs me late in the night going into Sunday. But yeah, the Red Sox do pick up the win. They've won the first 2 games of the series. And, Crochet not as solid as he was last time out when he took a no-no into the 8th inning against the White Sox. But again, 6 scoreless innings against an offense. And he even said, hey, I got to be better next time because I'm going to face a better lineup. And, I'll be giving up some runs based on how he pitched today.
Yeah. Another guy having a memorable day that did not go the way he wanted. Pirates get shut out by the Guardians 3-0 on Paul Skeens' bobblehead day. He takes the loss in this one, gives up a home run in the 7th to Kyle Manzardo. Absolute just nuke, goes into the river. goes into the Allegheny River. Manuel Clase gets the save in the ninth. Third shutout for the Guardians. Fourth time the Pirates have been shut out. Do you think the Guardians get the sweep on Sunday since they got past the toughest one of the three with Paul Skeens?
Certainly possible. I mean, they're right there. Lively pitches well. Clase, I don't know that he'd be available for Sunday, but maybe they put up some runs. But again, this is a Guardians team. And by the way, in the AP story, it had Indians at one point. I found a mistake, and if I find a mistake, it's a bad mistake. Moving on from that. Yes, you've won the first two. Take care of the Pirates. Leave Pittsburgh with a series sweep. I think they come to the ballpark thinking exactly that on Sunday.
Another team who's looking for a series sweep when they come to the ballpark on Sunday, my Atlanta Braves. They also won back-to-back games for the first time. They take down the Twins 4-3. They won 6-4 on Friday night. Here is my postcast co-host, Jake Mastriani, with his thoughts from this one.
2 wins in a row for the Atlanta Braves as they get a 4-3 victory over the Twins on Saturday. Jake Mastriani from Locked On Braves, and some really good at-bats they carried over from what you saw in the 8th inning on Friday night. There's only 4 runs in this one, but I think you could see the difference in the at-bats in this game. They were continually putting pressure on the other team, getting guys on base. What a game by Alex Verdugo. He comes in over 5 night in his first game, and then tonight 4 hits, 2 doubles, 2 singles. Some big hits in there for Alex Verdugo, so glad to have him there in the Braves lineup. The guys get it done. That's 2 in a row. Can they keep it going on Easter Sunday? We'll recap everything happening in this game on the postcast over at Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta.
The one kind of area of concern, another short start for Chris Sale. 4 to 3rd innings, leaves with the bases loaded. Rafael Montero bails him out, strikes out Carlos Correa and Harrison Bader, but just he's gone from 5-inning outings to 4 1/3 the last 2 times out, trending the wrong direction, and Atlanta needs that rotation stability.
They do, and great year last year. Back-to-back seasons. Can he do it again for the Atlanta Braves? Time will tell. But Chris Sale, to me, when you say Chris Sale, what do you think of? Own worst critic, right? He's going to beat himself up. And he's going to, whatever he needs to work on between starts, he's going to do that. And then you always wonder, is there something going on? Is the elbow barking? Is there something going on? Physically, the back, had late last year. You still think of that. It's just a want of a guy to do well, right? I don't know why, for Chris Sale, but I just, have success. And going to need him to have success. You're creeping towards 500. You're getting there, but you're going to need Chris Sale if you want to be above 500 come Memorial Day, come July 4.
Yeah. A couple quick finals here. Mariners beat the Blue Jays 8-4 in 12 innings. Weird kind of thing. Julio Rodriguez did not start the game. He comes in as a pinch hitter, stays in center field, ends up getting 3 at-bats because they go 12 innings. Mariners score 5 in that final frame. Blue Jays can only scratch 1 across for that one. The Nationals, they did not play on Friday. They saved all of those runs and banked them for today. 12-11 over the Colorado Rockies. 20 hits in this one. Mackenzie Gore versus Chase Dolander. This would have been my pitching matchup to watch were they not in Colorado, but absolutely crazy one there. And then I guess kind of wrapping up the day, Giants and Angels. 3-2. Really, I'd argue really entertaining game. Mike Trout goes 2 for 3, 2 home runs, both solo shots. We've seen those issues before. He's now 1 behind Tyler Soderstrom of the A's for the MLB lead in home runs. And the Angels never get a runner in scoring position in the entire game. I'm not like a front office or an analyst or anything, but I feel like that's not a great way to win a baseball game, Steve.
No, and he tattooed one in the 9th inning too. I think it was caught on the warning track.
Yeah.
And he put a charge into one. But yeah, get guys on base in front of him. And how many guys has Mike Trout had hit in front of him over his Angels career? It's just been a ton of guys, and it's never they don't always have that traditional leadoff hitter in front of them either. Great to see that what he's doing. Giants pick up the victory. That series even 1-1. And the atmosphere was fantastic. I saw Trout's home run on, MLB put it out on X, and I'm like, I clicked on it and I heard the crowd on the reaction to the home run. I'm like, I'm going to put this game on, late in the game, and sellout crowd. I think I heard the announcer say, and great atmosphere and everything, and that's great to see. Major League Baseball's had a good weekend this weekend with attendance, and it does come with warmer weather, but there are a lot of great crowds throughout Friday and into Saturday.
Good attendance, entertaining games. I mean, Landon Rope in this one for the Giants, 7 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits, strikes out 9, only damages those 2 Trout solo shots. Matt Chapman hits a home run, and then Kyle Hendricks wasn't terrible. 5 innings, 3 runs. Like, you take that from a back-end starter. So,
right.
Like, the games have been good. There's not been just egregious blowouts. When one team scores a lot, the other teams also scored a lot. Entertaining this week. Final thoughts on the day that was from Steve Lenox.
Too many guys hitting below 200 right now around baseball, and we close out with Lamont Wade, 0 for 2. For the Giants in the victory against the Angels as we wrap up the show. But he's hitting under 100 on the season. And he's got 5 hits on the year. Work in a single every once in a while. All 5 hits, extra base hits. But there are a lot of guys right now well below 200 with the batting average on the season. Yes, I still look at batting average.
There's a couple of them below 100. Jock Peterson's below 100. So is Lamonte Wade. On this team, on the Giants team, Willie Adames is batting 190. Like, you got to get more from some of these guys. This has been MLB Game Night for Saturday, April 9th. If you're listening on audio, do us a favor. Leave us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to Locked on MLB to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live tomorrow, because this show is 7 days a week. If MLB's playing baseball, we will be there. Until next time, this has been MLB Game Night.